Welcome to UCTV News. My name is Abby Mace.
And I'm Macy Karika. Coming up, a chartered Uconn bus burst into flames this weekend. Find out the details after this commercial break. It was a cold, rainy, and windy day this afternoon, but that didn't stop runners or spectators from attending the 119th Boston Marathon. About 30,000 runners from 87 different countries set out Monday morning to participate in the 26-mile race. Lilisa Desisa of Ethiopia picked up his second Boston Marathon win today in 2 hours and 9 minutes. His previous title was in 2013, but he donated his medal to the city of Boston in memory of the victims of the bombing attack that happened just hours after he crossed the finish line. Caroline Raudick of Kenya won the women's race in 2 hours and 24 minutes. Both winners received $150,000 for their titles.
Uconn will add a veteran on the basketball court to their roster of freshman recruits next season. All-Ivy forward Sean Miller is graduating from Cornell this spring, but will begin graduate school at Uconn this summer. Miller is eligible to compete for one more season after a shoulder injury sidelined him his junior year. He told The Current, "Uconn gave him good vibes from the start. I just felt accepted from the first moment I stepped up here," he said. "I felt like part of the family."
A Wesleyan University student who was expelled last week after being linked to the drug overdoses of 10 students has been arrested for a second time. Eric Lonergan was charged with first-degree criminal trespass Saturday afternoon after showing up on campus. Police say he was attending a festival at Wesleyan, which was a direct violation of the no trespass order. Lonergan posted $5,000 bail and is scheduled to be arraigned in Superior Court on April 27th.
The lives of 52 Uconn seniors were on the line Saturday when a bus transporting them to Boston caught fire. After arriving 45 minutes late, the bus that eventually caught fire stopped on Interstate 84 in Sturbridge, Massachusetts, because it was having problems with its brakes. The bus kept going, but was forced to stop when students noticed smoke seeping up through the floor. Within minutes, the entire bus was engulfed in flames. Student Ferris Judadic told CBS News, "If we kept driving for another 30 seconds, we would have been in deep trouble." All students made it out safely and no injuries were reported.
As most may know, today, 420, is known as National Weed Day. Activists around the country are doing more than just getting high. Many have led rallies across the country to send a message about the legalization of marijuana. Cheyenne has the latest story on Connecticut's push for legalization.
There's been a push to legalize marijuana in the state of Connecticut. Earlier this year, State Representative Edwin Vargas proposed a bill to state legislators. The bill proposes that decriminalizing the use and possession of marijuana will better allocate resources and increase tax revenues in Connecticut.
And based on the Colorado model, with our demographics, Connecticut would generate, they estimate, $29.4 million the first year. That's based on local state consumption. If we're one of the first states to pass this, we might have out-of-state business too, which could drive the numbers even higher.
With the implications it would have on Uconn's budget, students are getting involved. Uconn Students for Sensible Drug Policy President Tyler Williams says legalizing marijuana in Connecticut will have many benefits for Uconn students.
We're facing a $40 million budget cut, and I think even more across the state, right? Like, if we could bring in that sort of tax revenue, this would be something that would massively benefit students across our education system.
And if you ask students, they are all for it.
If we can morally sell cigarettes, that the only real purpose for that is making people still addicted to it get cancer later in their lives, I don't see why we can't legalize marijuana, which is used for medicinal purposes.
If Connecticut were to legalize the recreational use of marijuana, they would be the 5th state to do so, following Colorado, Alaska, Washington, and Oregon. Reporting from the state capitol, I'm Cheyenne Baker with UCTV News.
Coming up next, this weekend's spring concert led to several students being hospitalized. Find out what happened when we come back.
Yesterday marked the 20th anniversary of the Oklahoma City bombing. Hundreds of people gathered outside the memorial to remember the 168 victims who were killed in the attack. The service began at 9:02 a.m., which was when the bomb detonated, with a 168-second moment of silence, followed by the reading of the names of those killed. Timothy McVeigh was executed in 2001, and Terry Nichols is serving a life sentence for the attack.
Rapper Schoolboy Q's performance at Uconn Friday night brought more than just live entertainment before a crowd of 4,000. 2 were arrested and 15 were hospitalized Friday, according to NBC Connecticut. 1 student was charged with disorderly conduct, while a non-student was charged with trespassing and possession of alcohol. The hospitalizations are suspected to be from alcohol poisoning, although no alcohol was sold at the event.
Jurors will start to decide on a punishment for the man convicted in the 2013 Boston Marathon bombing. The penalty phase of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev's trial begins Tuesday. He was convicted of all the charges brought against him. Jurors now have to decide whether Tsarnaev should spend the rest of his life in prison or be executed. Those jurors were told not to watch today's marathon.
A suspect has been identified in a teen murder case in Torrington. Police say 20-year-old Heather Burden stabbed 19-year-old Holly Aishleman to death early Friday morning. The victim was reportedly outside riding her bike when Burden attacked her with an axe and a knife. Police say the girls had a hostile relationship and were in a disagreement over a boy. Aishleman's family held a vigil Sunday night in honor of their daughter. The investigation is still ongoing.
Well, coming up, spring weekend is right around the corner. Find out what events will take place this weekend. Stay tuned.
Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break you off. All you ever did was wreck me.
Uconn women's basketball seniors Kalina Mosqueda-Lewis and Kia Stokes were both selected in the first round of the 2015 WNBA draft Thursday night. Mosqueda-Lewis was selected 3rd by the Seattle Storm, while Stokes was selected 11th by the New York Liberty. The two will become the 28th and 29th Huskies to play in the WNBA, and the 15th and 16th Huskies to be selected in the first round of the WNBA draft.
The Uconn women's lacrosse team shut down Florida Saturday to beat their first-ranked team of the season. The number 8 Gators were up by 7 at the half until attack Catherine Finkelson stormed in, scoring 3 goals in less than 2 minutes. However, the Huskies didn't have a lead in the game until the final 3 minutes. Midfielder Allison Fazio converted a free position attempt to score the game-winning goal. The victory puts Uconn at a perfect 6-0 record at home.
Star Wars fans rejoiced last week when the trailer for the new movie Star Wars: The Force Awakens was released. Fans couldn't contain their excitement about the new movie after seeing the trailer, posting all over social media about the last scene of the teaser where Han Solo says, "Chewie, we're home." The new film will introduce some new cast members as well as some familiar faces and is set to hit theaters December 18th.
It's finally warming up and finals are right around the corner, which means it's time for spring weekend. The Yukon tradition runs from Thursday through Saturday, and among the events are a food truck festival, a cake decorating contest, a circus, and the classic oozeball tournament. Starting Thursday, bring your student ID to the Student Union front desk or room 307 to pick up your spring weekend wristband so you can join in on the fun.
You know, I know they really have gotten strict over the years about the partying aspect of spring weekend, but with all of these different events that they've organized, it seems like it's more fun now.
Yeah, I have to say, they do have some pretty good alternatives. I've always wanted to try oozeball.
Yeah.
It's on my Uconn bucket list. I haven't gotten to it yet, but maybe next year I will get it for senior year.
Well, that's all tonight for UCTV News.
Be sure to check out our YouTube channel, the UCTV Channel 14. Thanks for tuning in.